This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Batman The Long Halloween, Part 2. And, honestly, I think that it was good. Honestly, I feel like one of the things that does make me think that this is, maybe even great, but it isn't amazing. Because honestly, I just feel like there's a few things in it, mainly towards the end, that aren't as good because they're not how the comic book went. Although this movie is pretty comic book accurate, it has just a few things that pushes it down and doesn't make it as good. And I'm going to go through those few things that kind of just, pushed it down from being one of the greatest to just really good. I mean, together they are extremely good, but I think this one just pushes it down just a little bit because although I do like it, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as, the comic book. That's just one thing, which makes me keep Dark Knight Returns parts 1 and 2 together as the best because it's both such a great adaptation and it basically, changes almost nothing. And with this, technically, well, let's say spoilers. This movie's been out for I think like 3 weeks right now, 3 or 4 weeks. So the one thing is that with it, when watching, those the one thing that changes from the comic that's the most extreme is kind of the identity of Holiday. Because here's the thing: in the comic book, Holiday was two, technically three people, depending on how you look at it. And although it is true that Harvey's wife was the Holiday killer, one of them in the comics, there was technically two other ones. Harvey was technically the third, since he was, of course, two till basically he killed Carmine on Halloween night, technically making him the third one. But the second Holiday was Alberto Falcone, and that's one of the main changes. He was just, dead in this, and in the, comic he was Holiday and the one that they publicly arrested as Holiday, and I think that just takes away, a little bit from it because I think that Alberto was interesting to be Holiday since Wissam wanted to get rid of his father's organization and enemies. Well, his father's organization, enemies, I think. Because from what I think is the Holiday killings, at least I think for the first 2 months, maybe 3 months. No, it would be but yeah, it would be up to Christmas, where I believe Gilda Dent, and then after that, it was actually the Holiday killer switched to being Alberto, where he faked his death on the boat, making it seem like he was the next Holiday killing, but he took on the mantle from her, and I think that was the full connection they had in the comic, that they both decided to take on Holiday's identity, and not that they were in love or anything. But it does make it interesting here, and I'm not fully sure if, because I think there's like two things, because from what I saw is that at least in the Long Halloween comic, I might have missed this, that Falcone is Selena's father, but on the other side, I say that might have been, maybe not been in the comic, it might have been a tie-in, I'm guessing, because I'm pretty sure I don't remember reading that. But who knows, it might have been one of those things where, I just looked right past it. I did read the comic about a month ago again, just to make sure. But, not going to get to it. I think another thing that kind of hurt it at the end was having Batman there at the end. Because I think it was just interesting for them to appear in Falcone's office after, well, Alberta was found to be Holiday. Everyone thought that, basically everything was over. And that this was going to be kind of like a wrap-up issue. Maybe finally cementing Harvey as Two-Face. And some other stuff like that. But it turns out, with Harvey killing him with the help of the other criminals. And I think it was just good because Batman wasn't there. Also, I think that, although I think it was pretty interesting, I think Batman and Catwoman working together in this and being, close and knowing who each other were so early in. As I feel like it just felt like they didn't need to do that, and they could have done it later on. And it just could have been a little more, accurate like that. But that's the thing, my main problems with this is just non-accuracies. It's nothing of the overall plot, it's just one of those ones where you just prefer the book over the movie, and it's kind of unfair to be judging it, but it's always there in the back of your mind. Because I think another reason that I love The Dark Knight Returns is because I saw the movie before I read the book. And that's another part of it because it's just so good and more likely to look past it. But I've read The Long Halloween multiple times before this. And also I just, love that one a little more. And that's really it. But with complaints, and just some stuff that are really just changed from the source material. And with the good parts, honestly, I think it was just everything was just good overall. It just those inaccuracies just doesn't make it as good because that's really the only things I have to say is the only thing that really stood out to me was this changes. And I get it that not everyone cares that much about it, but it's just honestly something that kind of bugged me personally, and this is my review. So I'm going to give my honest opinion. But with it, I think that honestly, I think the rest of it was done really well. There was all the, stuff that happened. You think that, everyone's dead. You think there's people, you know what? I think that it was good with Two-Face's turn, and with his, I think his court scene was, from what I saw with another review, perfectly adapted into the comic book, where he becomes Two-Face fully. I do like he started hearing the voice of Two-Face right before. And, really, yeah, I think that this was a really good movie. I definitely recommend it. If you're a fan of the comic book, do know there are changes, and it feels a little odd, but I still really like it. I really enjoyed it, and I recommend you to watch it. And of course, if you're watching through, you've either probably read the comic or seen the movie, or you just want to know about it and don't really care about spoilers. And you know what? I really want you to go watch this if you haven't. I think it's really worth the watch. And I still think it's really good, but it just personally isn't on the level of Dark Knight Returns to me because it isn't as, accurate and everything. But still, I really like the movie, really enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.